let's change the lights. Yeah, that feels fitting. Okay, awesome. You know, the thing is good work doesn't happen by accident. It's taken me a long time to realize in producing video and working with clients that, truthfully, the thing that makes a project actually work really comes down to collaboration. We're going to be taking a slight departure today in terms of the subject matter that we produce, but we're really focused on trust equity and how that makes more ambitious projects possible through the lens of teamwork. So we're talking about the Backwordz Whitepilled music video today. This is one of my favorite projects we've ever worked on, but I think it's important to peel back the layers and understand how things come to be. If you're looking at the Whitepilled music video, you know it's way outside of JECP's normal scope of work. We're not a big VFX company. We're so focused on doing in-camera effects, but at the end of the day, this all comes down to relationship. When we were building our brand, we were focused on we want to make good relationships. Now, I've known Brian for a long time now. We've been friends, we've helped each other out, we've shared different ideas, and we've built a friendship over the years. And there came a time when Backwordz was shopping around to figure out, hey, what's our next music video is going to be? And they were really focused on, we want to mature who we are, the look that we want to present, and really give a different version of the band. Anytime I think about artists and the representation that they want to present, art direction plays a big role, but art direction can't happen until the right questions are asked. So when I think about trust equity, it's about building the foundation. When Brian initially reached out, he said, hey, we have this vision, we have these ideas, and we want to talk to someone about music video projects. Would you be interested in talking about this project? Now, initially, when I heard the VFX idea, I was a little hesitant, but I was very honest about the fact of I think we can do this, but it's going to take a lot of teamwork. It's going to take a lot of collaboration. It's going to take good communication. These are all core elements. When we're thinking about creative services, it's so much more than just building a really great idea. Early on, this would always get us in trouble. Anymore, when we're taking on a project, we're really trying to make sure, what are the expectations? What can we do best? What can we do better than someone else? When I think about what our value is, it is that teamwork element. It's that collaborative nature. So the foundation of all this, it's not, hey, we can do creative things and you guys want to hire us for a creative service. It's saying, hey, you guys need to share what's at the core, what's your vision, what's your values of this project. And then I'm able to put the right pieces together, really take a coaching mentality and say, these are the right players to get this project done. If we could put the right pieces together and we all work together, one, it's a lot more fun. But two, you start to see some of these ambitious ideas become that much more possible. And 10 years plus into doing this, it always gets me so excited in the fact that, wow, we accomplished this. We got this done. And when I'm looking at this music video in particular, it kind of blows my mind. I can't believe what we were able to accomplish, but that only comes from trust. That comes from believing in one another, and that comes with collaborating with the right people. When I dive into creative direction, it's a lot of questions. So when me, Brian, and Alex hopped on our initial call, we talked a lot about what is the vision for Backwordz? What are you guys trying to do? How do you want to present yourself? And I studied, all these previous videos that they had done were very good. The views are there, the vanity metrics are there, which is great because it shows that there's a foundation that this project can be successful. The two things that I felt were really overlooked was intentional decisions. A lot of the set design, a lot of the locations, they were all good, but there was these small little details that I thought we could massage around and create consistency. We wanted to make sure that they look like they belong together. When I think about a mature band, it just really feels like this is what we expect. This is exactly what we look like. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not trying to impose different ideas. I'm trying to ask, hey, from a fashion standpoint, how do you guys want to present yourselves? From an energetic standpoint, what did you like about some of your past videos? This is one of the areas that I thought was their unfair advantage. All the performance elements of their past videos were incredible, but it didn't feel like they were ever capitalized on. It felt like the story was trying to overshadow this really great gem of their performance. When I initially heard the Whitepilled song and they had this idea for VFX, one, that scared me, but it didn't scare me as much because this song felt like it lended itself to this. The vocals and the way the instrumentation was done was it just kind of belted things out and it held on a little bit longer. If you're going to go into visual effects, I really like for those shots to linger. I like for them to feel grand. And the sonic dynamic of the song already felt grand. So it felt like it could fit and it could do something that past VFX projects haven't been able to do, where we're cutting very quickly. We're moving along and we're not able to really immerse ourselves in the world. I want this to feel immersive. I want to really let these things sit there and feel powerful. And this song really lended itself to that. Let's tighten up some of the details. Let's make sure this feels super pro. And then we can kind of get this to the next level. And when I'm talking VFX, I can't talk VFX without Josiah. Josiah and I have been friends for a long time, so I think this trust equity thing plays a role here too. It's not just, hey, what's my relationship between my client? It's also the relationship amongst my team. And if I can get the client side of things right, if I can make artists feel like they can trust JECP, that they're going to have a great time on the experience side, it makes it that much easier for me to attract the right team players who are going to execute this project. I don't know anything about VFX. I don't know anything about Unreal Engine, but I do know a lot about our relationship and how he evolves and how much I trust him on the creative process. I know nothing when it comes to VFX, but I do know something when it comes to creativity and how we like to evolve each other. Josiah has constantly given me trust and let me apply myself as a director of photography to different projects. And anytime I've got to bring him into the mix, it scared me to death because I just want to do a good job for him while also providing him an opportunity to evolve himself. Any project that we've worked on, there's always been this extra layer that Josiah pushes me or challenges me to of like, what if we did this? And first and foremost, I don't know anything about shooting green screen. It all comes from Josiah. So we're doing crazy lighting on this video, and he comes up with this idea that's like, hey, I've wanted to do a rotating green screen shot for a while. And for me, green screen's hard for me to wrap my head around. To also have to communicate that, to the band and be like, hey, it's gonna look like this. It's hard, it's difficult, it's challenging. But when you have a partner like Josiah, who gets this stuff, who has that creative mind that you don't necessarily have, it goes a really long way in building confidence for me to relay that to my clients. And that's exactly what this was. And he took it a step further of saying, what if we built this platform? He kind of walked me through how we would do that, how it would work in the scene. And these are some of my favorite shots that I've ever seen in any music video. And it's crazy to me that it gets to be in one of the music videos that we produced. Building this contraption, it was really difficult for Alex and Emerick to do, but they handled it like champs. They gave such a flawless performance, and it really immerses you in the video as something special. Additionally, we have strobing lights. Most times we're doing constant lighting or subtle flicker. One thing that we don't do when we do green screen is I'm such a planner and I obsess over the details and making sure it's all intentional. When I heard the song, the way I felt was life is challenging. It's difficult. And at times it feels like we're frozen in time, and other times it feels like things fly past us. And that's part of the challenge of life, is learning to slow down and appreciate the moment, learning to overcome the challenges. And I really wanted this element of the rocks floating around to feel surreal. Obviously, just rocks floating around looks cool in general. We could stop right there. But with the way the vocals would raise and fall, speed up and slow down, I thought, how do we match that? How do we create this kind of surreal world that has these fast moving and slowing down, and then we have standard motion from everyone else? In addition to that, the rotation was to match that of like, our world is spinning. We can feel like we're spinning out of control, but we have to center ourselves. We have to ground ourselves. So all these decisions, yes, they look cool. They make the video look rad and all that good fun stuff. How do we make it intentional? Taking it a layer further, one of the initial things that we were talking about was, let's immerse this music video into the Rippaverse, the comic book side of things. And I love this. Brand building is about weaving in and treating the fans to an amazing experience. That is the biggest thing that was at their forefront. It's like, we want these videos to feel mature. We want this to be a step up, but we also want to serve our fans. I love this. You got me at my heart right here and there. As this thing evolved, when we're working in VFX, Josiah obviously does so much of the heavy lifting, and he took my vision that I had for this and just evolved it to a whole nother level. So I'm going to actually hop over here to the editing side of things and give a peek inside a handful of things that we actually did to kind of take the VFX to the next level and to just kind of feed that itch that I have as a cinematographer to make it feel like it was actually shot in real life. First thing you'll see when you get in here is kind of the final look. Josiah really always points me in the direction of is adding a nice glow and a nice grain to this. So we have a grain effect applied on here that's making this less digital, which goes a long way. And we have the glow-fi filter, which really like blooms these highlights, makes it look believable, and adds this like nice edge glow around the highlights that just sells the effect and makes it feel more real, even though it's obviously not real. We're going to turn that off, and we're going to take a look at some of the other layers. So we can kind of see we're closer to just the raw effects here. If we take this off, we take this off, you start to really see exactly what we started with. On each one of these, we have, a color grade and whatnot. We match the Rippaverse color palette. That was one little small touch that was like, we want this to feel warm, we want this to feel energetic, and we want to match off of that. So this is a great shot. One of the things that we were able to do is, if you look right here at this clip, I have this zoom in at 144. If you watch this just straight through, it's just a zoom out. And one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to create a vertigo effect on some of these. So I wanted to really distort that a bit more. And with this effect, technically it's already zooming out, and we're doing the opposite and zooming in. So you see this vertigo effect kind of happen. Each one of these, I'm really trying to say, okay, how do we add some extra touches to it? Like this one, I'm pretty sure we do a little zoom in that's more aggressive here. So we get a nice little punch in there. Same thing here. There's another vertigo effect right there. So this is one of those ones where we did the opposite. Initially it was just going in, and then we kind of changed it to going out at the same time, which creates this really cool effect. Those were like the first layers where I was like, okay, how do we take this and how do we make it somewhat unique and do some things that just can't normally be done? And I think this is part of the fun, is like, let's not just get the VFX footage and do what's there, but let's make it something really compelling, cool, interesting, and think like a cinematographer. The next layer of what I added into this were these top layers here. And essentially, I was trying to create like a diffraction, like I would with some sort of glass or prism that I would put in front of the camera to make this look a little more interesting. And what's happening here is we have a expanded version of this. So this is like scaled up to like 135 or something. No, 225. So pretty exaggerated. And on that, I have a Gaussian blur. So if I turn this off, it kind of looks awful. But I also have a mask on here. So it's actually just the center of this, and then this bleeds off the opposite way. We flip this one, it softens all of that. And you're seeing like it's kind of this expanded version of this that's glowing over here. So it's not perfect. We're helping sell the effect a little bit more and making it look more real, again, even though it's obviously not. So when we're looking through some of these, we really brought in a mask that's just on this side. So it's not doing anything super crazy. On this one, same thing. We're kind of looking on duplicating him. So if I take off the Gaussian blur, you'll really see we've exaggerated him to be significantly larger. But if I put the Gaussian blur on there, now it just feels like there's some sort of prism in front of that, like a diopter really. These are the small things that just made a huge difference in just making this video really rad-tastic, in my opinion. We see it as is. It looks cool. There's nothing wrong with this. It does definitely look digital, as it should. But, you apply this here, big difference. You apply the color grade here, all those extra effects. Yeah, like this one here, like there's a lens distortion. Here, we have on this final layer, we have this Gaussian blur that's around the edges. So it's softening these edges. If we turn that off, and we have a lens distortion. So we're spreading things across a little bit more and distorting the edges quite a bit. Again, trying to make it look like a real camera that has some of this distortion. That's not perfect cinematography. I want it to feel real. Between applying this layer, we started our base, we apply this layer, we start to sell it a little bit more. We apply this layer, we start to add some subtlety to this. And then we have the final layer, which is our bloom and our noise. We get a really nice, beautiful final image. I'm just unbelievably proud of this project. I love how hard my team worked to make this look awesome. When I think about building relationships with clients, it's these small things that make me want to go a step further, that make me want to evolve these things and push beyond what I'm capable of. Yes, it's scary, but when I think about stress, I think there's chronic anxiety, things that just absolutely crush us that aren't healthy to stay in. But then I think on the flip side, there's acute stress. These are things that we intentionally choose. It's choosing our own hard. And this is one of those projects that I was like, I feel as though they have so much heart and passion for what they want to do. They're taking their time to do this the right way. They care about their fans. Additionally, that lets me build out a team that can care just as much, that can be just as excited about this project as what I am. And this is why building the right foundation, having that trust equity makes a big difference for all parties. It's going to be teamwork. It's going to be collaborative. So you have to be willing to work together. You have to be willing to challenge each other. You also have to be willing to be honest and say, this is beyond what I'm capable of. And we all just have to work together to get there. That can be scary, but that honesty can also be super powerful. And that's what I found to be the case in this video. When people buy into JECP, you're not just buying into me, you're buying into my network. You're buying into the way I think about problems. You're buying into the super connector that I try to be. And the way I solve problems is through connecting the right dots, creating great experiences. And I think that's this project in general is a prime example of that. It's us all working together, us all getting excited about what this project potential could be, and us all busting our butts to make something that we're incredibly proud of, from, concepting to shooting. This is truly one of my favorite experiences that we've ever had. It's one of my favorite projects we've ever made. And it is truly a reminder that the quality of relationships that we build, the way that we go about building creative work together, it takes trust. When we do that right, we give projects the love and attention to detail that they deserve, and they refuel the fire and the excitement for this amazing work that we get to do. I am so proud of this video. I just wanted to take some time and share, more behind the scenes and the intention behind these things. Because I think so often we see these music videos and like, oh, really, really cool. But there are so many intentional decisions that came from the band that we were able to take and shape and mold into this really amazing thing. And it makes us feel as though we're living out our mission and purpose at JECP, which is to evolve artists. It's to help them. It's to grow them. So I hope you found this informative. I'm so stoked on this video. I love all the love that we've been getting from this thing, and I appreciate every one of you.